I think it's important for us to revisit imposter syndrome because it just keeps showing itself up as an ugly, just like thorn in your side. And it's coming because you are not being yourself.
Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started.
Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the collected convo I had with Ryan Lindner in our last episode. If you haven't listened to that one, you should go listen to it. You can listen after this one, but you should listen to it at some point. This podcast doesn't want you to listen to the first to the end. You can bounce around as much as you want.
Totally.
I think it's fun to hear what we have to say because it feels like you're part of the conversation, and then you can go listen to that one.
Yeah, I mean, if you're new here, we have pods. The weekly pods are basically connected. So the first one's an interview, and then the next one is our recap of it.
And the FYF has nothing to do with any of them. It's just a win.
It's exciting,
and you should do that.
Yeah.
And also, if you're new here, hi, I'm Lesley Logan.
I'm Brad.
Yeah. Well,
Crowell.
I introduce you. We don't introduce me. So this is
true. She's Lesley.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Welcome.
Today is November 9th of 2023, and it's actually Cambodian Independence Day. 1953 is when they actually got their independence from France, because yes, France tried to take them. Well, France ruled over them for a while, and
almost 100 years. It was like the 1860s that they were quote unquote discovered by France again.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a lot of not so good things in there. But it's also why when you go to Cambodia, some people do speak French.
Yeah, there's a lot of French influence for sure.
Yes.
No doubt about it.
But it is their Independence Day, and it's a big holiday there, often celebrated more in the capital city of Phnom Penh. But at any rate, I think it's really amazing that they have their independence from another country.
Yeah, and Cambodia has a soft spot in our hearts because we have a place there.
Yeah.
We go there every single year. We actually sponsor a girl there to go to school. We take people there on retreats. We get to explore all the things. We've really fallen in love with the country of Cambodia.
We live in a village.
It's just incredible.
When you're part of that village, it's really fun to be part of that. And I love taking people there because it's really important that you see. We can all travel to Europe and other Western countries all the time. I think it's really important to see how people live in other parts of the world that are different than your own.
Yeah.
It's not just about like being grateful for what you have. It's actually like, they're very present people, and it's a place. It's like when I'm there, it's like you feel like you turn off the whirlwind, and like it's an outdoor lifestyle. Like they spend a lot of time of their day outside, very much in community.
Yeah,
they take care of each other so much, and so you really start to realize like how much you could be part of your own community where you live when you see how communal some people can be. So anyways, happy Independence Day to them. I just got back from Chicago. Brad did not join me on this trip. That means I didn't get lost. I didn't lose an ID. I didn't do anything I didn't miss a flight or any of those things. Knock on wood. And I'm actually headed into Arizona tomorrow to have a girls' weekend with my family. And then I come back and I'm home for the rest of November with Brad. And we have Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff going on, which we will only offer during the week of the actual American Thanksgiving. So if you are wanting to know what those deals are, you have to get on the email list for that stuff.
Yeah. So both for onlinepilatesclasses.com, for OPC, and for Profitable Pilates, we're going to be doing some special things. And I really am excited for our BFCM, Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale coming up for Profitable Pilates, because it's all about a webinar that I'm going to do, a public webinar that I'm going to do on December 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
And it's going to be all about what your Pilates website needs.
Mm-hmm.
So make sure you're paying attention to that. That's where you're going to get those tickets. And come hang out with me, and we'll dig into websites and SEO and also images and all the things. It's going to be a lot of fun.
When we first offered this topic, like, you had very little options in building a website and everything costs money. And now there's like so much amazing plug and play stuff. So it's really changed and you should not be afraid of it. It's not expensive anymore. So I think that's really cool. After he's done with that webinar, a few days later, we hop in the van. Well, first we kick off our tour in Las Vegas. And then we play the Leaving Las Vegas song as we exit Alley Fitness and head to St. George. And
how does it go? Leaving Las Vegas.
No, that's not it. I'm leaving Las Vegas. Anyways, sky so bright. Saturday night. Anyways,
I know I did the Viva Las Vegas.
Who sings it? It's like not Alanis Morissette, but it's something like that. Leaving Las Vegas song.
Sheryl Crow.
Sheryl Crow. Well, I love Sheryl Crow. I went to the Las Vegas airport and I was like going up the escalator to go to security, and the song was playing in the terminal, like for Southwest, and I was like, do they play this like 24/7 or is it just happening right now? Can you imagine if they played it all day long? Every time like someone entered the airport, they play Leaving Las Vegas. It was just in that moment, but it felt so apropos. Anyways, so we'll be playing that song, and then we'll go to St. George, and then we will hit the rest of our cities. Boston
7,000 miles. We're going from Vegas to Boston to Miami, back to Vegas.
There
it's
are
going to be
cities
crazy.
in between, like Denver, somewhere in Ohio, like lots of awesome stuff. You're going to want to go to opc.me/tour to find out all the stops. And I expect you to get in your car and join us somewhere near you, because we want this to be the biggest tour we've ever done. And just so you know, at the time of recording this, we don't have the details we can sell, but I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to make sure you spot this van. You're going to want to make sure you come to this tour, because there are reasons that you want to come besides meeting me. I'm just saying.
We got some exciting things cooking.
Yes.
Yeah. So tune in.
Yes. Before we go on to talk about Ryan, we have an amazing question from someone.
Yes. So, okay. This is a great question.
Yeah.
And it's probably one that's sometimes overlooked, because we obviously live in the world of Pilates. And so everything seems pretty obvious to us to where to find things. But somebody said, hey, how do I become a Pilates instructor? And I was like, oh, that's an awesome question.
Actually, like a question that gets asked so much. It's every single week when I look at like who goes to the website, what they search for this, and we have lots of tools on this. But I got this in an email because someone is like, I love Pilates. I think I should just be able to teach it, but I'm moving at the end of the year, and like, are there things I should consider? And I thought that was such a great question.
Yeah.
And I wanted to say, we do have some free stuff on the site on profpilates.com. We'll make sure the links are in the show notes, that actually like a free course on like how to become a Pilates instructor. We also have a whole series of courses once you've are in a program, so you can set your business up correctly. But in between those two, I have a book where the first chapter actually talks about what questions to ask a teacher training program. While I'm a classical teacher, I do not force people to become classical teachers. The questions are things you should be asking any teacher trainer you are thinking of purchasing from, because here is the deal. No two programs are built the same. You cannot compare this, not apples to apples. It's like every type of produce, and also the ones that you've never heard of. So every program you've seen out there is built by someone based on what they want for their studio or what they were missing in their teacher training program. And so you first need to make sure that you like the teacher trainer that you have. The second thing, especially if you're moving, is to make sure that what you're being trained in is a comprehensive program and that you can teach in any kind of Pilates studio. So if it is something that's it's like, if you hear it's our unique blend of exercises based on the equipment that we built, those are signs that it's not going to be great for you. Maybe not for other people. It might be great for other people, but if you are wanting to have a certification where you can go anywhere, you're looking for a comprehensively trained program on all the equipment, so that wherever you end up in this world, you can actually teach in a full studio. Now, some countries have different rules around actually being certified at the end of the day. For the most part, it's an unregulated job, which is why there's so many different types of trainings out there. So you want to definitely check out my book. It probably will take you 6 to 9 months. 6 to 9 months is what you're looking at
to become one. Sure.
Yep. And if it's anything that takes you more than a year, unless it's on your end, that's your choice, that's a little interesting. Most of the time, most of the training weekends can happen within 6 to 9 months, and then you take the amount of time you need. So anyways, get the book, get the course, check it out, and then let me know what you end up doing so we can celebrate your process. If you have questions on anything, you want us to answer, you can send that into the Beit Pod and we'll ask on the next episode.
Okay, now let's talk about Ryan Lindner. Drawing on a wealth of experience overcoming personal hardships, Ryan Lindner collaborates with clients and top organizations around the world to address turnover issues and instill a sense of humanity and understanding within workspace leadership. I thought it was interesting that he said when you get hired for a role, they treat you as if you are the role. Like, all right, you're going to run the shipping department. So we'll talk to shipping and receiving. All right, yeah, call shipping and receiving. Not call Bob, but no, call shipping and receiving. And, like humanizing the team again. It's interesting. It just changes that scope. But also it's really interesting to listen to him talk about, his, like all the things and what he's been able to do and his personal struggle with imposter syndrome. So that was really cool.
We've talked about imposter syndrome before on this podcast, probably several different episodes. John Malora was a top one on that. Really great one. Really great one. And so one of the things I love that we talked about is he discussed the tendency of people with anxiety to seek approval and please others. And the thing about people pleasing is that's just a form of control. And you actually can't control how those people are. And so he explained that having boundaries means you have to say no more, which means you may have to end some toxic relationships or leave some jobs. And he emphasized the importance of self-love and owning one's worth and detaching that from external approval. Oh my God. Well, if you can figure that out, y'all, in an episode, you should be teaching a college course. It is hard, okay? Especially if you were raised to be that way, if that was like a learned behavior that you have. But I like that he talked about boundaries means you have to say no. Do you know that it is actually kind to have boundaries? It is actually very kind to have boundaries. And we'll talk about this in an episode coming up with Kelly Adame. For my females wanting to live in a more feminine energy, it's actually very feminine to have boundaries and say how you will and will not receive other people. And so boundaries doesn't mean saying no to I actually want to rephrase it. When you have boundaries, you are saying yes to the things you actually want in your life. If you don't have boundaries, you are actually saying no to something else.
Well, you're probably saying yes to everything.
You're saying yes to everything.
Which means inadvertently you're dropping something.
Especially yourself.
Yeah, usually.
And so he stressed so much. He's like, you have to love you. And you have to do that again. And you have to own who that person is. And I think this is the hardest part. I think a lot of people don't know how to love themselves, because how many people listening, raise your hand, only one if you're driving, if your family taught you how to love you. Did your parents show them self-love? Because that's how you learn it, right? Like it's a learned behavior. So if you only see your parents who are constantly trying to change how they look, if they're like all the women in my life were like always on a different diet every single week and then cheating and going, here, I'm gonna have these chips with you. So like I didn't see self-love consistently modeled. And why would they? The people before them, that's a fucking luxury. Can you imagine the people in the depression and the wars going, I love myself so much. Like it's a fucking luxury, right? So we have generations of people not modeling self-love.
That is really interesting. I never really thought about that. My parents were, when I was a kid, every week they would drag me out to this stupid soccer game that they played in and we had to sit on the sidelines.
That's so cool.
And I hated it. I was like,
yeah, but that's so cool again. Because they would watch your fucking soccer games.
And then on the weekends, we would go sailing and we hated sailing.
What?
Oh my God. My dad was like trying to flip the boat. He was having so much fun. He's like, this is the best thing ever. And we're like terrified. And my mom made us take 1,000 swim classes.
I think that's why you're the unique human that you are, because your parents showed you like how to have fun and I think do things for yourself.
Yeah, that's what I'm coming to. I don't think I really realized that they were just doing it because they wanted to do it, but they were actually also modeling.
This is hilarious.
Setting time aside for yourself.
Do you know what everyone says about you? They're like, Brad is like so happy. Brad's just like the kindest person. I was like, I know. It's a very interesting bird, isn't he? Like, they're just like, he's just a good person who loves everybody. And like, you're not very good at prioritizing yourself. We're still working on that from the last episode.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see people pleasing in you at all. At all.
No,
and
not so much.
You have zero problems telling people no. I'm like, oh my God, we like told them yes. And he's like, it's okay. We just changed our plans. I'm like, we can't change our plans. We have to go. We said we'd be there. So like it explained, like you were modeled like it's okay to do the things you want to do.
And my parents liked to play volleyball. Mm-hmm. My dad played in the band at the church.
It's too bad they don't listen to this show. They could hear how amazing they did a good job raising you.
Yeah. My mom took sign language classes.
Oh, that's cool.
You know, like they definitely, you know, pursued individual things and then did those things.
Yeah. So this episode wasn't for you at all.
It wasn't.
At any rate, for the people who this is for, if you struggle with these things.
Oh, are you kidding? No, there's still plenty for me to learn from Ryan. Yes.
Okay. But I'm just saying, if you struggle with these things and it wasn't modeled for you, I'm not giving you a get out of jail free card, but I'm saying like, it's no wonder it's a difficult decision, and you are going to have some toxic relationships that have to end. You know, what you guys were talking about was that those toxic relationships will inadvertently end. Yes. And also the very last thing I want to talk about is like he stressed the importance of defining relationships from the start. And this was very interesting. When I went to college, there's this thing called DTR, and I had no idea what that meant. And determine the relationship.
Oh, DTR. Yes.
DTR.
It's a conversation.
Well, I went to a Christian college, y'all. So shocking, I know, but I did. And
you fucking did.
I fucking did. And I said fuck all the time there. Anyways, it was this like thing that people would do. They're like, oh, we went on a date and then we DTR'd. And I'm like, after a date. But I'm not saying that like you should be doing that every time you date, but I do think it's important to be very clear about who people are in your lives and the relationship that it is, and whether that's a conversation you have to have with them, or if it is one that you just have to have with yourself to understand like, okay, Julie from the office who drives me fucking crazy, the relationship with Julie is at the office only. And if you're taking Julie's shit home with you, you are muddling the relationship. Or if you're letting Julie want to also hang out with you in the weekends, you don't have to do that. You can say, hey, Julie, I love our time at the office together. But I don't have time for us to have a relationship outside of the office together. And like, yeah, that might piss Julie off. And you know what? Hopefully you have a good HR. And like, they probably already know how crazy Julie is. And so sorry for any Julies out there.
Fucking Julie.
Well, I mean, Karen, the poor Karens have already been fucked. So let's just find a new name. Anyways, I think like definitely take some time to define relationships from the start is going to help you take yourself off of the pressure of showing up in a way that's unaligned with the relationship's definition.
Yeah, I
did you DTR in college? Because I never DTR'd. I was like, I'm gonna get through 4 years of college without DTRing shit. Because it just felt weird. It felt like everyone's trying to get married right away because they just want to have sex, and it's like, well, just go have sex. Anyways, welcome to my college experience.
Well, saying no wasn't something I was always, good at.
You say no all the time.
I do now. But when I was in college, I didn't.
Oh, you said yes to everything.
Well, it wasn't that I said yes to everything, but I wanted to fit in too. Even though I was still like...
You wore rings on all your fingers. You had your hair color the wrong color based on the rules.
Yes, I know. I definitely pushed all the boundaries, but it didn't mean I didn't want to fit in.
Okay, sure,
right?
Maybe.
So, I don't know. But I don't know. I thought the DTR thing was kind of silly. But I did try to date a girl on my campus. And I asked her dad if I could date her, and he said no. And I was like, oh, fuck. Now what? She lived in Canada. And I was like, that's fair. But
did her dad live in Canada?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised because that would be really great. Then she could stay. If she married you.
Yeah. Well, clearly that didn't happen. No, I wasn't really trying to date so much. I just thought it was all a little strange.
I don't even think Ryan was even talking about dating, but that's what my brain went to. Ryan was just talking about like relationships in general, like the people in your lives. And so I do think determining relationship is really important.
Yeah, I think so too, especially like, defining the relationship can help with boundary setting. And we were talking about boundaries because, if you're...
Well, if the relationship is a work relationship,
then the boundary is the end of the day.
Yes.
Period. And that's what I was going to get to.
If it's your boss, the boundary is the end of the day.
And I think we were talking about this before on a previous episode here, that the way that work from home has shifted, it's been so empowering and freeing and amazing, but it has also completely changed our boundaries. Mm-hmm. And if we're not careful, we're taking home all this work, meaning we never actually set an end of the day boundary for us. And I think that it's also been, mission creep with text messages from work coworkers and work and emails late at night and all this kind of stuff. And
did you know, I think it's France or one of the other countries in Europe, it's illegal
to text your employee.
Yeah. And also there is zero expectation of you responding to anything outside of office hours ever.
Yeah.
It's actually weird if you do that. They're like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. And I don't know that I agree. I think that's a bit extreme, but I do think that it's healthy to say, like, unless the fucking house is burning down, don't contact me outside of those hours. That's because you've defined the relationship as this is a work relationship, that it can help you reinforce your boundaries, anyway.
Define your relationships. Okay. What did you love?
Okay. So, you guys got into introvert, extrovert, how you, and also defining that, how you recharged. Some people recharge being alone and others, go together, when people together. And he started talking about how, he's also, very introverted, but he does all these speaking engagements, right? And so he talks to all these people all the time, and how it stresses him out still, even now after having done it for so much time. And then he he specifically said, I had a conversation recently with like a general or somebody huge in the military, because he got a chance to work with people in the military, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of led you down this interesting thing about titles, right? And how titles will make him uncomfortable, can make you uncomfortable. If you know somebody's title, you started talking about doctor, and how like you were teaching a doctor Pilates, and how you're like, whoa, why are they even taking Pilates from me? Because they are a fucking doctor and they know everything, about, I don't remember what kind of doctor they were, but it's
an orthopedic surgeon.
Well, that's what it was. And you came to this conclusion that, they may understand the body, but they don't know how to move their own body.
Yes.
And anyway, the point of his thing was that, like, when he started to focus on their title, the people that he was discussing things with and talking to and coaching, basically, it was intimidating to him. But if he could like put the title aside and just talk to him like a human, then all of a sudden it would change the dynamic. And, what it immediately made me think of was, what if you were walking down the street and you bump into a president of the United States, and you don't know that they're the president or were a president, and you just strike up a conversation with them and you talk to them like a human, and it's probably going to be just a simple, easy exchange, conversation, whatever, nothing weird about that. But if you were walking down the street and they have the presidential motorcade with 57 Secret Service agents and like dudes carrying guns near them, you're going to be like, whoa, I have no way. I could never even speak to that person. I would never try.
Yeah.
And so just knowing the person's title alone, it's such a crazy thing how that shifts our own dynamic.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, like, even when I was teaching Pilates, like when the celebrities would need a session where I was and I would have to teach them, like there's this moment of like, okay, so like it's a little awkward because I feel like I know a lot about you. You know nothing about me, but also it doesn't matter. You just want me to teach you, and I'm here to teach you, but I'm a little nervous, and like it takes a few moments to get those butterflies out for sure. Like, yeah.
Fucking 15 years ago when I had just moved to LA and I was in Trader Joe's with my roommate at the time. And there's this girl walking down the aisle and I just started talking to her. And
you knew her?
No, I don't know. We were talking about whatever the fuck. I was just being friendly Brad, right? And
Brad talks to everybody.
And we're talking, and like we had this, like we saw each other in a couple rows, and it was kind of cute. And we got to the line, and we had to stand in the line.
It's like right? Every single person in LA, like you try to meet someone at Trader Joe's. It's like
we're talking, and we're chit chatting in the line, and we're waiting, and and then my roommate turns around and he goes, "Oh my God, are you so and so?" And she's a fucking famous actress, and it just killed the entire conversation, and it was so bad. And I was like,
your roommate,
bro, you fucked that up, man. What the hell? And
who was it? Do you remember?
I don't have any idea.
Oh my God,
I have zero.
Brad.
I have no idea. I have literally no idea. I have no idea. But but it was like it totally changed the dynamic, and I was like, wah, wah.
Yeah. So it's really funny. We put people on pedestals. They put it like it's a whole thing. And that creates weird imposter syndrome, which doesn't have to exist because they're just people who also need whatever you have to offer. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, another thing I thought was really hilarious was he takes inspiration from Patrick Stewart, super famous stage actor, and obviously like Star Trek.
Patrick Stewart? Oh,
yeah.
Okay. I just outed myself. I've clearly not watched Star Trek.
No, come on. He's like he's so famous.
Like this.
No, that's Spock. But yes, I appreciate that.
But don't everyone on Star Trek do it?
No, only Spock.
Only Spock does this?
Well, Spock and his people.
For those of you listening, not watching on YouTube,
Spock's family was
it's
killed.
the fingers. Well,
the
just so you know, you have to do this in Pilates to put your straps on your feet if you're a classical teacher.
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube, she's doing the split V thing. Yeah.
But I have to cheat. I have to pull my fingers down. Oh my God, you could do it on both hands?
Yeah.
What?
Come on. You can do it. What, is that hard? I'm teasing. So yeah, anyway, Patrick Stewart said that even today, after being like literally, I think he's Sir Patrick Stewart.
He's knighted?
Oh yeah. Come on, you fucking know who he is. Look up his picture.
He's the bald guy?
Yes. Look up his picture. You know him. Anyway, he has been on stage thousands of hours on stage, right? And in front of cameras and
that's not Spock?
No.
Who's Spock?
Okay, not Patrick Stewart. Okay. Anyway, he said he still actually gets stage fright. After decades of doing it, he still gets stage fright. And he said, and he has this little mantra that he says to himself. He says, "You know what? I don't give an F." He probably says, "I don't give a fuck." Right? And he says what happens, and what I thought was really interesting was like, how is that beneficial? Because that kind of seems like flippant and silly and ridiculous, but what I thought was cool was that Ryan said that you're actually, you're kind of freeing yourself in that moment. You're detaching from the outcome in the moment and you're reducing the stakes. Mm-hmm. And I thought that's a pretty cool analysis of I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I just want to say I did look up who Spock is. I don't know the difference of the two, and Sir Patrick Stewart's hotter if it's anybody's concern.
We were all wondering, if that's what you were thinking.
Well, I mean, out of the two people, I would want to be with Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah,
I can't do the eyebrows on Spock. I'm not in. Anyway.
Okay. All right, we'll stick around. We'll be right back. All right, so finally, let's talk about those be it action items. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items can we take away from your convo with Ryan Lindner? Own who you are. There's nothing you have to become or do, or you don't have to arrive at anything. You just have to allow it. Yeah, you are you.
You were born amazing. It already happened. I love it.
Yeah. So I think it's just hard. We feel like we need to be more, do more, or, like we have to qualify. Or again, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago about our performance-based society, about how the achievements that we are how we define ourselves. Mm-hmm. Right. And I think that, of course, it feels good to hit a mark that we set for ourselves. But again, we should celebrate that. And two, if we just jump from mark to mark to mark, we're not actually enjoying the in-betweens ever, mm-hmm. right? And I think that we can apply that same thing about, who are you? Who are we? How do we see ourselves? I think that
made me think of Alice in Wonderland. Who
are you?
And he does it, and then he does a little smoke. Who are you? The ultimate question. My goodness.
There's nothing more that you have to become to be mm-hmm. you. You're already you.
You're it. You made it.
You made it. Congrats.
You've already actually technically bend it till you sawed it. But
you bend it till you sawed it?
I don't know how to. I'm just trying to
Babe, you have arrived at that.
You were born that way, but now maybe you still have to be it till you see it. But you were born that way, and so maybe the journey is just you finding yourself back to who you already were.
Oh man, we've bent it till we sawed it.
You know what? Past tense on the past tense. You don't like my double negatives. I guess you don't like my double past tenses. I don't
even know what to say. That's amazing. All right. What about you? What is your biggest
he
takeaway?
Said then this is because that seems hard to just be who you are. So he actually said you have to practice it. And here's the thing. He says, like, practice it in front of people, practice speaking, put yourself on camera and record it. Like, this will help build confidence. You know how confidence comes about, you guys? Confidence is that you don't wait for confidence to bestow itself upon you. Confidence comes from doing the fucking thing over and over again until you feel like you can do it. Like, have you ever seen someone like, they're able to like stir something that they're cooking and also like text on the phone without looking at it? Do you remember on old phones, now I'm dating myself, but all the people listening to this are our age. T9, where you could like not
I could text without looking at your phone.
Yeah, not look at your phone, and you could like text.
I would not only that, my screen was broken. So I had to memorize I literally memorized the keypad. Because you couldn't see.
Could you read people's text to you?
No.
So, but you would text them.
I would text them.
I can't read what you say, so just call me.
and then it forced me to memorize people's phone numbers again.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the reality is all those things come from practice, and confidence comes from just doing the thing. Like, that's just what it is. It's actually also from just like showing up and doing the thing you said you would do. That's also putting coins in the confidence bucket. And so if you are struggling with like just being yourself and being it till you see it, you can't just sit around and wait for it to night itself upon you. You have to actually do the thing and practice it. So practice in front of a mirror, practice doing it while you make a bed. Practice it while you do the dishes. Practice it while you're listening to Gaia try for the 17th time in this recording session to find a bed that's comfortable for her. None of them are. We've tried 7. None of them are comfortable. So, but we're going to keep practicing until we find a bed for Gaia. We're just going to keep going. But that is how you do it. So I really enjoyed this. I think it's important for us to revisit imposter syndrome because it just keeps showing itself up as an ugly, just like thorn in your side, and it's coming because you are not being yourself.
Yeah, and so let us know how you've been till you've sawed it.
Thank you for bringing it back full circle.
Yeah.
I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
You're amazing for listening to our episode. Sometimes the wheels come off the bus. We got 3 dogs and life going on, but we hope that this helps you be it till you see it and not be perfect because that's boring. And if you have takeaways, want you to tag the Be It Pod, tag Ryan, and until next time, be it till you see it.
Bye for now.
That's all I got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day.
Be It Till You See It is a production of the Bloom Podcast Network.
It's written, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
It is produced and edited by the epic team at Diseño.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Chofi.
Special thanks to Melissa Solomon for creating our visuals and Semena Velazquez for our transcriptions.
Also to Angelina Herrico for adding all the content to our website. And finally to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time. Own who you are. There is nothing you have to be calm.
No, become, I think.
That is really obviously wrong.
That's really wrong. I didn't really understand it, but I think it's become.
Yes. Let's try that again.
Okay.
Own who you are. That's take 2, by the way.